Well, doing that is going to slightly, but not completely, offset any of the negative effects of viewing artificial light at night. So I don't want to give people a pass here, but let's say you know that you're going to watch some Netflix at night, or you're going to be up late studying, and yet you still want to be able to fall and stay asleep. Definitely make sure you see that evening light. There's a great study, we'll provide a link to the study, which showed that if people view evening sunset light or evening sunsets or sunlight right around the time of sunset, it really serves to inoculate or offset some, not all, of the negative effects of artificial light between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Now that's light, but as you recall, we also have this tool related to temperature. And you're probably not going to be surprised that the way to leverage temperature in the evening is the exact opposite of the way that you want to leverage temperature early in the day. Early in the day, temperature increases from cold showers or exercise, etc., wake you up. What that means is that taking a cold shower late at night is probably a bad idea. Rather, taking a nice hot bath or a sauna, you might think would heat up your body. And indeed, that's what happens if you stay in a very long time. But if you do a hot tub or a hot bath or a sauna in the evening and you don't stay in for more than 20 or 30 minutes and you get out, you take maybe a cool-ish shower or a warm shower, then what happens is there's a compensatory cooling off of your core body temperature for the reasons we discussed earlier, and your body temperature will drop by 1 to 3 degrees, and it will make it much easier to get into sleep. So if you're somebody that enjoys hot baths, hot showers, or hot tubs, evening and nighttime is going to be the best time to do that if your goal is to facilitate sleep. Similarly, you should try and make your sleeping environment pretty cool, if not cold. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be cold while you're asleep. You can get under as many blankets as you need, but it's a good idea to make your sleeping environment cool. In fact, drop the temperature in that sleeping environment by at least 3 degrees, and you'll be happy that you did. Now, some people rely on things like 8 Sleep. I use that, one of these controllable temperature mattress covers. Other people would simply do this by putting a fan in the room or opening a window. Again, depends on time of year, depends on technology, depends on budgets, etc. But you're going to want to sleep in a relatively cool or cold sleeping environment and then layer on the blankets as needed to stay asleep. And I say as needed because one of the things that you're going to do in your sleep, or if you happen to wake up, is if you're too warm, you're going to put a foot or a hand out from under those blankets. And the reason for doing that is very logical. Once you understand the mechanism, you have special portals. You essentially have ways of passing heat, in and out of your body, primarily through the palms of your hands, the upper half of your face, and the bottoms of your feet through so-called glabrous skin. This was covered in the episode with Dr. Craig Heller from the biology department at Stanford. If you lower the temperature in your sleeping environment, so lower the temperature in that room, or use a controllable mattress cover that can cool down like 8 Sleep or something of that sort, it's naturally going to make your sleep environment cooler. And if you're too warm under the blankets, all you have to do is extend a hand or a foot out from under those blankets. Whereas if the sleeping environment that you're in is too warm, there's very little you can do to cool off besides push off those blankets. So for instance, if you're too warm and you're waking up in the middle of the night, which is what happens if you get too warm, you'll push off those blankets. But if the room is too warm, well, what are you going to do? You'd probably have to put your hands into some cool water or take a coolish shower or something for a couple of seconds. That's not very practical. Better to just keep the sleeping environment cool. I'm not a big fan of people putting socks on while they sleep, or I should say, I'm not a fan of putting socks on while I sleep because that eliminates this glabrous skin portal on the bottoms of one's feet. So for those of you that have heard, wear socks while you sleep, that works great for people that tend to run too cold while they sleep and wake up because their feet get cold. But if you're somebody who wakes up in the middle of the night, chances are you're waking up because you're getting too warm. And the best thing that you could do is to cool or lower the temperature in the room that you're sleeping and not wear socks. Get under as many blankets as you need to fall asleep. And then across the night, you'll naturally just move a hand or a foot or all hands and feet out from under those blankets to cool off because of the relationship between temperature and sleep. That is, dropping your core body temperature 1 to 3 degrees gets you into sleep and helps you stay asleep. So let's say you do exercise late in the day and you're finding yourself very alert in the evening and you need to fall asleep. Or let's say you've exercised and you needed 4 cups of espresso in order to do that exercise. Well, there are a few things that you can do to try and bring your nervous system down into more state of calmness, and you can do that also by lowering your core body temperature. One of those I already talked about before. Taking a nice hot shower or a hot bath and then getting out and cooling off will decrease your body temperature. Maybe not enough to get you into sleep if you have a ton of caffeine in your system. But again, you can use this mechanism of temperature shifts to wake up or temperature shifts to fall asleep in ways that really can help you overcome some of the irregularities in your sleep-wake cycle and exercise cycle, et cetera. Because of course, nobody's perfect. Some days we end up having to work out in the afternoon or we'll miss the workout entirely. Other days we end up having that cup of coffee in the afternoon with a friend and then we have a hard time falling asleep. So you can use these tools not just in their optimized form, being absolutely obsessive and compulsive about exactly when you do each of those tools. That would be wonderful, but life happens, as they say, and some days you're going to feel too alert at night and you want to fall asleep, or you got to get up especially early the next morning and you're not somebody who normally goes to bed at 10 p.m. Well, that's when something like a hot bath or a sauna can really benefit you because it can adjust your temperature rhythm accordingly. I would be remiss if I didn't touch on alcohol and CBD and THC.